Calling to order the 30th regular meeting of the Lake County Board of Commissioners. Please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Dear God, please bless our meeting today. May our discussions be fruitful, our decisions wise, and our community strong. Amen. Madam Clerk, roll call, please.
Commissioner Rogovich.
Here.
Commissioner Hammercheck.
Here.
Commissioner Plechnik.
Present. We will now begin with public portion, but before our usually scheduled programming, we have a special recognition for our home program manager, Marion Norman. While we are very, very reticent to let her go, we recognize that her retirement is so well deserved. And so we would like to begin by inviting the director of our Planning and Community Development Department, who's worked with Marion for many years, Dave Radacci, to speak.
Good morning, Commissioners. Marion Norman's been a dedicated Lake County employee for just under 35 years. She started in August of 1989. In 1992, Lake County received our first round of home funds. Dave Gilmer, the director of the Planning Commission at the time, assigned her to getting the program off the ground and administering it. So Marion's been our only home manager for the past 35 years, or past 32 years. Marion has given her a lot. It introduced her to various Lake County nonprofits like Lifeline, Extended Housing, Forbes, and all their directors and their staffs have gotten to know her over the years, and they've all come to love and respect her. We're not the only ones going to miss her when she leaves. They're all going to miss her as she retires. Marion's been a champion for the underserved for many years. One of her original duties at the planning department was fair housing officer. She filled that duty faithfully until 1999. Then she determined that one person just couldn't do it on her own, and then she helped get Fair Housing Resource Center off the ground and has been a supporter of them ever since. She's been a big advocate for the homeless over the years. Code Blue, our emergency shelter, is here because of her. It's been an important program to her, which is a good thing because it's a very important program for Lake County. Marion's been was one of the people who interviewed me many years ago. I've worked with her for a couple of decades, and it's going to be weird not seeing her every day. She's become a very important part of my life, my work life, and my life. So I'm going to miss seeing her every day. So I'm going to also invite Rhea Benton to come up and say a few words.
Good morning, Commissioners. I'd like to congratulate Marion on her retirement and let her know that we're grateful for all the work she's done on the grant programs over the past 30 plus years. Marion truly believes in the purpose and mission of Federal Department of HUD and has been deeply committed to the goals of the Home Investment Partnership Program and to the residents of Lake County. Her work under direction of the County Commissioners has made a significant impact on those in need. In our field of work, we utilize the federal grant funds to make incremental improvements in the community and also to respond to crisis situations. Since I've been here, we've had several, and during that time, Marion really demonstrates her ability to pull together community partners and reach those who need assistance the most. So with that, I'd like to wish her the best in her retirement.
Thank you. For my part, I'll just say, since I joined the Board of Commissioners in 2021, I've seen Marion's extraordinary push to find as much resources as possible, anywhere possible, to help those in need in Lake County, whether it was the ERAP 1 or 2 program for rental assistance or looking for various federal grants. Marion never stops working. And I suspect that even in retirement, you're going to continue to push for the causes that you believe in so strongly because it's just core to your character and who you are. So I want to, on behalf of all my neighbors, thank you for the decades of persistence on everyone's behalf. There are not enough advocates for those in need, but you've been a very powerful one. Commissioners.
Mr. President, being able to work with Marion now for just over a year and a half, a lot of people don't understand when you get federal money that all the strings attached and the guidelines to use it can be very intricate. And Marion seems to know that flawlessly and work with so many other agencies that provide that stuff. And to be able to give it where it's needed, that kind of knowledge is priceless. We thank you for your time here. It was great for Lake County. You'll be sorely missed, but well-deserved vacation. Enjoy, relax, and I'm sure we'll see you around.
Mr. President, if I could just add, Marion, it has been an honor, a pleasure working with you. You're quite the bridge to the nonprofits. You helped educate me along the way of where the sensitivities are and where the needs are. But I also have to say, you're there at 2 o'clock in the morning when a boiler needs to get fixed. And it's like, okay, we're back up, or yeah, this one's not gonna work. You've always gone above and beyond. And this is not an easy job, it's not a glamorous job. And I have to say, the way you and Rhea worked so well together and played off each other, that you brought out the best of each other. And quite frankly, I think in your own way, you helped bring out the best in this board. And that's a challenge in and of itself sometimes, and you've always stepped up to those challenges. So God bless you, enjoy your time, and no happy dance. We got 2 sheriff's deputies here, so we wouldn't want to cause a disturbance. You hang in there, kiddo. Good seeing you. Mr. President, back to you, sir.
So with that, we just have one final item. We want to present Marion with a certificate of recognition for her decades of service as a small gesture of our gratitude. So if you wouldn't mind coming forward, we will present it formally.
In so many ways.
Debbie, yes.
Now this is better. Congratulations. So Marion, you're certainly welcome to say a few words if you'd like to, but we also aren't pushing you to.
I'll be quick because while things went over in my head repeatedly, getting them on paper sometimes doesn't happen. Yes, 35 years, it's an awful long time. How did it all start? And so much has changed. Even as to how I came here. I saw a newspaper ad. Who gets jobs by newspaper ads these days? No one. And it was for staff planner, fair housing officer with Lake County Planning Commission. And that office back then, we had a director, a different Dave, 2 support staff, Elsie and Jinx, and 3 various level planning professionals, Daryl, Jim, and Russell, and 1 computer. Can you imagine? That office now, Lake County Planning and Community Development, is a great marriage of 2 fields. It's still on the small side, but oh man, is it a gem. The activities that go on there impact so many lives. It's not just me, in so many very positive ways. I am certain that good planning, good plans, and good actions will continue on. When I first started, I remember needing to get a muffler repair. and going down to a little muffler shop down on Jackson. And the fellow there said, "What are you planning?" I had no idea at the time. What was I getting into? And perhaps I still don't know. I do know that I'm thankful for the various directors and various commissioners that allowed me that room to explore and grow. And along the way, we, in collaboration with other county offices and the nonprofit and the for-profit businesses, we grew all kinds of good things. We planted seeds, and most of them took root. Most are and will continue to give back to the greater Lake County community, the state, and the nation. And I'm happy that we touched on home program, and there's so many thousands of households that got that foot in the door at their first apartment. Hundreds got that down payment to get in the door for a place to call home. And while home program, it's just money and small change in the overall scheme of things, of county finances, it helped provide the stability to all those households that sometimes isn't there. Community Development Block Grant, it's great. It funded so many actions before home came along, including a part of my salary. That's kind of important. Stay tuned. The greater folks who watch these meetings on a routine basis. CDBG, as it's commonly known, it's coming up on a 50th anniversary. And you can see through a variety of feature stories that'll be happening, all the good that does. And yes, Fair Housing Resource Center, it grew out of what had been a quarter of my job into what it is now. And I'm so proud. Emergency rental assistance, it did a lot of good things. It could have done so much more, but hey, I'll take wins where we can get them. And I challenge the office that I leave behind and the rest of you to continue to plant seeds and nurture them and make them grow. We all take different roles in that process. Sometimes you're the farmer planting the seed. Sometimes you're the sunshine putting light on a topic. And sometimes you're the fertilizer. But it's all good. And, carry on, people. Thank you.
Thank you. Congratulations and thank you again to our home manager, Marion Norman. So with that, we will return to our usually scheduled programming of public portion. Any member of the public who'd like to address the board, please step forward, state your name and address, and you have 3 minutes.
Good morning, Commissioners. Dave Lima, Litchfield Drive, Mentor. The inability to rebut comments made by others after I spoke last week's meeting prompted me to add to and again stress the importance of separation of church and state at the national, state, and local levels. When public meetings begin to take on the air of a church service, appropriate concern emerges about the potential dilution of the doctrine of church and state separation. Roger Williams, Jefferson, Madison, and others intended for and clearly favored a wall between church and state, a wall that some are attempting to tear down. The Establishment Clause, the provision of the free exercise of religion, and the No Religious Test clause in the Constitution clearly points to their original intent. The founders saw the entanglement of government and religion as a danger. The idea of a religiously based government was abhorrent to them. It is true that our founders had different religious views, but deism influenced most of the founders, including Jefferson, Madison, Thomas Paine, George Mason, Benjamin Franklin, George Washington, John Adams, John Quincy Adams, and Ethan Allen, to name a few. Deism is a movement of reason and equality that influenced the founders to embrace liberal political ideals, our Constitution and the first 10 amendments, the Bill of Rights. They were religious rationalists who favored social justice, religious tolerance, universal education, freedom of press, and separation of church and state. I want to reiterate that public meetings are meant to be inclusive space for civic engagement where one perspective is not favored over others and where a pluralistic public sphere is maintained. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else for public portion?
Brian Massey, 8196 Rainbow Drive, average citizen on behalf of Lobbyists for Citizens. I did make copies for the commissioners, and before the meeting, I was on a podcast with Joe Miller's Ohio Political News last night, and their guest was Marcel Stribick with a group called Election Integrity. During the discussion, they mentioned a company called Black Fork Strategies. They are a voter registration company that they ask, they try to sign up people to vote in the state of Ohio. More in the inner city than in the rural suburbs, but there's been some allegations that there's been some inappropriate conduct by some of their canvassers. They have been providing incorrect voter addresses, and that has caused some problems throughout the state. So I was asked to check to make sure our Board of Elections has not done any business with Black Fork Strategies. I did speak to Dante Lewis this morning, and he was aware of the organization in his former position, but he said Lake County is not involved at all with Black Fork Strategies. The other thing that I handed out was an open letter to the Ohio government officials. This is just for your information that this election integrity group, they are trying to work with the state, trying to identify electors that are not confirmed to be eligible, or they're requiring provisional ballots for those that can't be identified. So I just mentioned it to the commissioners so that you're aware. I know that you're all very strong in trying to make sure that we have free and fair and appropriate elections, and I do think the Lake County Board of Elections does an outstanding job and a big supporter of them. I just wanted to make that mention that to you. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Anyone else for public portion?
Hi, my name's Frank Pitchler. I live in Perry. My address is 2840 South Ridge Road. And I'm up here to speak about John Plechnik. NORWAC. Okay, NORWAC is an organization that actually will still our rights and stuff. And John took time, and I talked to John Hamercheck on it too, because I guess he's president of it. It's a bad thing for Ohio, okay? But John took the time, probably about an hour of his time, to explain it to my wife and I, how it works and everything. And after he explained it to us, I was happy that he would actually break it down where I could understand it, my wife could understand it, and I think Lake County needs to get out of it, which they can't. Ohio would have to drop out of it, because we actually lose freedom belonging to NORWAC, okay? It might bring money into Lake County, but are we going to give up our freedom for money? And I just hope our commissioners stay conservative and vote the right way at NORWAC. Okay, thank you.
Good morning, Commissioners. Chris Bahari, West Jackson, here in Paynesville. And I'll be very careful so I don't get the sheriff after me today.
Don't ring that bell too loud.
Yeah, the gongs are quite loud into the microphone, so I'll ring them off to the side. But that is what they call resonance. And resonance is like a tuning fork. And if we can tune ourselves into the hearts of people of Lake County, then we can focus on bringing good harmonies and good will to all the people in the county. So let's just have a moment of silence and resonance for our good nature and our good spirits to be with them. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else for public portion? Anyone else?
Chris Weiss Leroy. Good morning, Boss Plechnik. Continue what I started talking about last week regarding your browser history on your county computer, which incidentally is 8,227 lines on an Excel spreadsheet. It's become clear that your misuses of county resources are not discrete activities. They are, in fact, a pattern of conduct, and you failed to disclose fully and with complete candor the scope of your unethical behavior to the Ohio Ethics Commission in 2022. Let's recap quickly. Caught using your office and county resources teaching law classes for profit. Only self-reported through your white-collar crime attorney after the prosecutor directed you to do so. Clearly, that guy was worth every penny. Donated your teaching fee to the NAACP as a tactic to get leniency from the Ohio Ethics Commission. The result of your lack of just full disclosure garnered you a sweetheart deal requiring only that you take a 1-hour online ethics class. A class for which you make no mention of the final grade, curiously. Here's some things you didn't do. You didn't donate any other ill-gotten gains you've accumulated while campaigning from your county office. You didn't self-report your campaign activities conducted from your county office, such as working on campaign finance reports, Facebook page, or website. You didn't self-report your Ohio Realtors campaign activities or donate any of those funds. And you didn't report the transactions made from your county computer buying gold bullion from sdbullion.com. But wait, there's more, much more. There's all the opposition research you conducted from your county computer. I can understand researching Adam Dudziak, Maureen Kelly, Morris Beveridge III, even Commissioner Regovich. However, you always knew that using county resources for this is a violation. What I find perplexing is the voluminous amount of research you did into Sheriff Frank Leon Bruno's family members, especially those family members working for the Willoughby Hills Police Department. Could it be that you're seeking ammunition to use as leverage against our good sheriff to make him, shall we say, more compliant with your agenda regarding the new jail? What could possibly interest you in Sheriff Leon Bruno's family? Is the sheriff going to become one of your future targets as you are so notorious for attacking public figures in the smoky back rooms of the Lake County Republican Party or through ghost complaints filed in probate court? You told the Ethics Commission you were using your personal cell phone and county computer to teach law classes from your county office because you didn't know how to use the camera on your county computer. However, your browser history shows you use the same computer on many occasions to access or conduct Zoom meetings. On June 30th, 2022, you were in a Zoom session for over 4 hours. Would you care to explain your researching the law professor loophole in life? Is that some kind of magic bullet to shield your nefarious activities from the public? One can only wonder. It seems your superior intellect makes you smarter than the investigators, able to pull the curtain of protection over yourself and continue to build your brand. We both know you're trying your best to get past the statute of limitations on some of your undisclosed, unethical, and illegal activities. We both know your likelihood of success is
Thank you so much.
evaporating
Thank you
into the
very much,
ether.
sir.
Thank you.
Anyone else? Anyone else for public portion?
Matthew Heberbrand, 403 Heisley Park Lane. Commissioner Hammercheck, you insinuated at the old business portion of the last meeting that I intentionally came to make my remarks to rain on your parade, your Nowaka parade. And as our fellow citizen rightly put it, most people are upset at Nowaka. If I had known about it, I would have amended my remarks to include the fact that most of my constituents think that this is all part of the AOC-backed Green New Deal scam, that we're paying for that money through high food prices, high gas prices, and our children are going to be paying off that debt, our grandchildren are going to be paying off that debt, and my neighbors are not going to have better energy because we're going to be wasting resources to try and get energy from the sun when we have one of the cloudiest cities in all of the state. But regardless of that, I do admire the statement your father made about standing up to criticism. As a father, I want to instill the same types of values in my children. But I'm disappointed because you didn't actually answer any of my questions. So I want to ask you again today that in the old business portion, please, why was your ID card used that night in May of 2021, the night of the primary election, to access your office? Why was a computer, a non-county computer, plugged into your Ethernet port? And if it wasn't you who did it, who is it? We know you did not report your ID card missing or stolen, and we know you used it the very next day. So either you used it or you gave it to someone who promptly returned it. As Mr. Massey mentioned in his comments, election integrity is important. It's important to my constituents, and it's important to the people of Lake County. People are sick and tired of political officials just skating by allegations, claiming, oh, nothing has come of it. They want answers. So answer us today. Why was your ID card used? If it wasn't you, who used it? Why was your laptop plugged into an Ethernet port in your office, and why was it being used to try and access the Board of Elections server? I look forward to your responses.
Thank you. Anyone else? Anyone else for public portion? Anyone else?
Good morning, Commissioners. Dale Fellows, Willoughby Hills. Just a couple quick things. Kudos and thank you to Marion Norman for her many years of service. She was around when I was commissioner quite a long time ago, and has done an outstanding job. And thank you guys for recognizing her and her efforts. Also, kudos to the Lake County Fair Board, an outstanding fair, well run. Super weather, and it was just an outstanding fair, and I know many of you were there for quite a lot. I will reiterate something I said last time about the freedom of religion in the Constitution. It's not the freedom from religion. And regarding deism, that's a great talking point. One would need to dig a little deeper, though, than on the surface to find out whether or not some of the founding fathers that were mentioned were real deists. And I would say that in my research, you'll find that isn't true. Especially, all one needs to do is walk into Jefferson's home at Monticello, and in the foyer at Monticello, it is filled with religious artifacts and things in replication of what you would have walked into in Jefferson's home at that time. All you need to do is read all the things that George Washington wrote. Especially, I would say, read one of the documents that's probably one of the best documents that's not read enough, is his farewell address. And you'll see the responses and his thoughts on God and religion in general, but especially in God. Madison as well. Bruton Parish is a well-known Episcopal church on the grounds of Colonial Williamsburg that has been there for over 300 years. And you will see the names of those founders who were participants at the Bruton Parish on a regular basis, those that were mentioned earlier. On another note, I do not drink, nor do I smoke. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else for public portion? Anyone else? Hearing none, we move on to resolutions. Madam Clerk.
In the Utilities Department, resolution awarding a bid contract in the amount of $1,589,120 to Fabrizi Trucking and Paving Company Incorporated for Vine Street Waterline Replacement Phase 3, Project 467W 2023.
Move to approve.
Second.
Any discussion? Hearing none, Madam Clerk.
Commissioner Regovich.
Yes.
Commissioner Hammercheck.
Yes.
Commissioner Plechnik.
Yes.
Resolution approving plan specifications and estimates of cost in the amount of $4,950,052 for new revetment at Bacon Road Water Treatment Facility, project number 473W 2023, and advertising for bids for the same. Bid opening August 28, 2024.
Move to approve.
Second.
Any discussion? Mr.
Randy.
Commissioner?
Randy, do you want to? This one's a big one.
It is. It's a big project, and it's a very important project for us. An unexpected expense for this one. About 10 years ago or so, we finished the revetment in front of our Bacon Road pump station, the raw water pump station. Since that time, the shoreline to the east to the west has started to erode and is compromising the pipe that goes from the raw water station to our water plant. So we put this project in motion. We were able to get a grant for $5 million for this project. It's going to end up paying for the entire project. And hopefully we get this in, we get some good bids coming up next month, and then it'll be installed by next spring.
Very good. Any further discussion? Hearing none, Madam Clerk.
Commissioner Regovich.
Yes.
Commissioner Hammercheck.
Yes.
Commissioner Plechnik.
Yes.
Resolution increasing appropriations in Lake County Department of Utilities, Water, Sewer, and Solid Waste funds for additional 2024 expenses.
Move to approve.
Second.
Any discussion? Hearing none, Madam Clerk.
Commissioner Regovich.
Yes.
Commissioner Hammercheck.
Yes.
Commissioner Plechnik.
Yes.
In the Commissioner's Office, resolution authorizing advertising for bids for security fencing replacement at 8505 Garfield Road for the Lake County Board of Commissioners. Bid opening August 28, 2024.
Move to approve.
Second.
Any discussion? Hearing none, Madam Clerk.
Commissioner Regovich.
Yes.
Commissioner Hammercheck.
Yes.
Commissioner Plechnik.
Yes.
Resolution accepting and approving the recommendation of Planning Commission member Amy Kosick to designate Miranda Keister to serve as her alternate on the Lake County Planning Commission.
Move to approve.
Second.
Any discussion? Hearing none, Madam Clerk.
Commissioner Regovich.
Yes.
Commissioner Hammercheck.
Yes.
Commissioner Plechnik.
Yes.
Resolution establishing the annual State of the County report in Lake County, Ohio.
Move to approve.
Second.
Any discussion? Madam Clerk, if I might say, I'm very grateful to our County Administrator Jason Boyd for working with us to keep making the county as transparent as possible. We stand at a crossroads with the construction of the adult detention facility and lakefront development. So now more than ever, it's important to have a State of the County report where we can keep the public informed. Any further discussion? Hearing none, Madam Clerk, roll please.
Commissioner Regovich.
Yes.
Commissioner Hammercheck.
Yes.
Commissioner Plechnik.
Yes.
Resolution appointing Virginia Jenna-Bean to the Lake County Senior Citizen Advisory Panel to complete the remainder of a 3-year term ending September 30th, 2026.
Move to approve.
Second.
Any discussion? Hearing none, Madam Clerk.
Commissioner Regovich.
Yes.
Commissioner Hammercheck.
Yes.
Commissioner Plechnik.
Yes.
Resolution authorizing the President of the Lake County Board of Commissioners to execute an agreement between the Lake County Board of Commissioners and Perry Joint Economic Development District for funds received from the U.S. Department of Treasury under the Coronavirus State and Local Fiscal Recovery Funds, known as the American Rescue Plan Act of 2021.
Move to approve.
Second.
Any discussion? Well, I do believe the Perry Township Administrator, Karen Sunday, is with us today, so I'd invite her to speak on behalf of her community.
Thank you for your time. I'm also the fiscal officer for the JED, and I just wanted to thank the commissioners for these monies that you have granted to the JED. This project has been a long time coming, many years that we've been planning for this sewer station to service 60 acres of farmland that we have that is owned by the JED. These monies will go, we're hoping we've entertained many suitors, one that is very viable at this time once we get this project in that is looking to purchase some property from the JED. This will increase the tax base for the township And also, we're looking forward to working, we've worked real closely with Randy and his team at Department of Utilities to get this project approved. Again, it's been a long time coming, and we're looking forward to see this project coming to fruition with the cooperation of the Utilities Department and the funding that you have granted to us. So thank you.
Thank you. Any further discussion?
Mr. President,
Mr. Commissioner?
I just want to thank Karen for the work that you put into this. I know it has been a long time coming, and it's happening now, and good
Right.
things are on the horizon. But the work with the township and with the JED to see it come together now is kind of exciting. So.
Yep, thank you.
Any further discussion? Hearing none, Madam Clerk?
Commissioner Regovich?
Yes.
Commissioner Hammercheck?
Yes.
Commissioner Plechner?
Yes.
Resolution authorizing the President of the Lake County Board of Commissioners to execute an agreement between the Lake County Board of Commissioners and Lake County Sheriff's Office Marine Patrol for funds received from the U.S. Department of Treasury under the Coronavirus State and Local Recovery Recovery Funds known as the American Rescue Plan Act of 2021.
Move to approve.
Second.
Any discussion?
Jason?
Yes, Commissioners, thank you. I've been, as we've kind of come into the conclusion of our ARPA allotment, which was $44 million a few years ago, we obviously look at providing projects similar to Perry Township JED on water and sewer issues that are eligible, helping our nonprofits, but also things that are eligible in the ARPA world that relate to the county government and general fund obligations. About a month ago, Sheriff Leon Bruno, Chief Izzo, approached me regarding the impact, the budgetary impact that the Lake County Sheriff's Marine Patrol has been facing, obviously with some of the significant and warranted concerns with the Coast Guard closures in Fairport and other areas. Kind of leaves the Marine Patrol and the other first responders to patrol the lake and notably respond to some emergencies on the lake. That has a significant impact on the county's budget. So we had some initial conversations, which I in turn looped in our legal counsel, Amanda Gordon, and really scouring the ARPA regulations and could this be of a potential interest to us and it is indeed eligible. So the grant in front of you is for $180,000, which is about obviously $60,000 over the next 3 years. That will assist the Sheriff's Marine Patrol in providing coverage and response times to Lake Erie. And if the Sheriff has any other input, I will conclude from there.
Thank you. Any further discussion?
Just to add to that, keep in mind we're very proud of our lake. Recreation and tourism is very important to us, and in the absence of the gap that's been created by the Coast Guard cutbacks, our sheriff has stepped up and the Marine Patrol has been filling a very vital need. I think it's been well published in the media. We've had a number of incidents that they've been involved with, but I see our sheriff is standing, and I don't think anybody can speak better to the Marine Patrol than our sheriff.
Good morning. I appreciate this funding to the Marine Patrol. Many people don't realize, but Lake County goes all the way to the Canadian border. And the United States Coast Guard is closing many stations. The problem is they cannot get enough people to join the United States Coast Guard, which has forced the closing of Ashtabula. The Fairport Coast Guard works not round the clock, about 40 hours a week at various times. There is no coverage from Cleveland to Ashtabula in terms of, other than if there's a Coast Guard person on duty that day. Our Marine Patrol is pretty much the only one from Cleveland to Ashtabula that's available. Now, fire departments have small boats that they can go out from shore a little ways, but nobody that can go into deep water. Our Marine Patrol also has a dive team that's associated with that. And our dive team has been very active this year. Our dive team was the team that found the Cleveland archaeologist diver. in about 60 feet of water, has responded to 3 drownings here on the Lake County shore. Recently was active the shooter in Willoughby that killed another man, threw his gun into the river. And our dive team went down, which was a very difficult dive because the silt is about 6 inches of just, and they were able to find that gun in those deep waters. So these expenses are a great strain in terms of the sheriff's office budget and county resources. And we have looked to the federal government for additional funding for Marine Patrol, and they have nothing to offer us. We've gone to the state to increase state funding for our Marine Patrol that has been reduced over the years, and the state has not found any money available. And so this is the opportunity for us to be out, because we're very active in our boating and swimming along our shores, to have our ability to get out there more and be available for emergencies. So thank you very much for that.
Thank you. Any further discussion? Then Madam Clerk?
Commissioner Regovich?
Yes.
Commissioner Hammercheck?
Yes.
Commissioner Plechnik?
Yes.
In the Finance Department, resolution approving payment of bills as listed on the Commissioner's Approval Journal in the amount of $392,530.84.
Move to approve.
Second.
Any discussion? Hearing none, Madam Clerk?
Commissioner Regovich?
Yes.
Commissioner Hammercheck?
Yes.
Commissioner Plechnik?
Yes.
Resolution approving purchase orders as listed on the Commissioner's Purchase Order Approval Journal in the amount of $7,878,307.99.
Move to approve.
Second.
Any discussion? Hearing none, Madam Clerk?
Commissioner Regovich?
Yes.
Commissioner Hammercheck?
Yes.
Commissioner Plechnik?
Yes.
Resolution increasing appropriations for various non-general fund accounts.
Move to approve.
Second.
Any discussion? Hearing none, Madam Clerk?
Commissioner Regovich?
Yes.
Commissioner Hammercheck?
Yes.
Commissioner Plechnik?
Yes.
Resolution transferring appropriations within various general and non-general fund accounts.
Move to approve.
Second.
Any discussion? Hearing none, Madam Clerk?
Commissioner Regovich?
Yes.
Commissioner Hammercheck?
Yes.
Commissioner Plechnik?
Yes. With the conclusion of resolutions, it's time for departmental reports, starting with utilities.
Thank you, Commissioner. A quick update on our Madison Village Interconnect project for sanitary sewers. We're about only a couple hundred feet away from approximately 4 miles of sanitary sewer to interconnect the Madison Village wastewater treatment plant to our wastewater treatment plant. Following that, there'll be a month or so of testing to make sure it's installed properly, and then we will be providing services to Madison Village, both water and wastewater, starting on January 1st is our plan. And there'll be some resolutions that we'll bring before the board to finalize that, and we'll be talking about that over the next couple of months.
So once that process is complete, residents in that district in Madison Village would be eligible for the 30% senior discount?
They would be part of our rules and regulations, yes, they would be.
I asked because particularly senior day at the fair, I got a lot of questions about the patchwork of providers, and what I try to emphasize to residents is that we only have the authority to grant a discount from the Lake County Department of Utilities, but there are private providers like Aqua Ohio, there are public providers like Painesville Water that have their own systems and policies. Now, we have reached out to all of the providers in Lake County and, frankly, providers out of Lake County that have services in Lake County, not once but twice, to ask them to match our discount. And I will share that Willowick has matched our 30% discount, so we're very grateful to their mayor and council for recognizing the need to make water and sewer services more affordable to our seniors. And we continue to push and we continue to lobby our colleagues, but ultimately, with home rule, every community, every company is making their own decisions. And so while we wish we could unilaterally grant the discount, we can only govern how we do business. And I just wanted to make sure that that was clear, but I'm grateful to hear that we're going to be expanding that to Madison Village very soon. Any further questions for Randy? Hearing none, on to Job and Family Services.
Thank you, Commissioner. Just a friendly reminder that the Back to School Bash is being held this Saturday, August 3rd, from 9 a.m. until 2 p.m. at Harvey High School in Painesville. This is an event that is open to all Lake County children and their parents or caregivers. It's a remarkable event to help children and their caregivers prepare for the start of the school year. So I would encourage parents and caregivers to think about stopping by Harvey on Saturday to get school supplies and various other services that their children may need to get them ready for school, which is going to be happening in just a few weeks. So thank you for that.
Wonderful, and thank you so much for all you do. On to our county administrator.
Yes, thank you, Commissioners. Just a couple brief updates. We had 2 ARPA projects approved today, so thank you. It's been great working with Karen. I've known Karen for a long time, and thanks to Rainey and his team for getting through that process, and Marine Patrol. We are nearing the conclusion of the available ARPA funds that we have available. We have a couple pending projects that are continuing to work through either approvals or filling their financial gap for the project, and I'll be updating the commissioners in the coming weeks about our ability to maybe obligate funds to other projects should some of those projects not move forward. We are required quarterly to submit our ARPA Treasury expense report. Zach and I, predominantly Zach, completed that last week, so that was submitted in working order. We're looking ahead to the end of this year when the monies are required to be obligated. In certain situations, if we have monies to a project that call us, let's say next March, say, hey, we just can't pull it together. We're trying to figure out with Treasury what our options are at that point in time, because we clearly want to keep that money here in Lake County. So I remember receiving these dollars thinking, holy cow, 2024 is forever away. We'll have time to do this. Well, it's essentially here as we conclude summer, enter into fall. So I've got a plan of attack for certain projects should we have some liquidity left over. What was my last one on ARPA? Well, that concludes my ARPA report. And then just following up on the presentation a few weeks ago on the Safety Center, as a reminder, we will have our bond rating meeting, which will be virtual on August 13th, 14th. That'll be approximately a 1-hour meeting, I'll call thesis defense, if you will, with Moody's. Joel, Zach, and I, along with our fiscal advisors and bond counsel, have been preparing and will continue to prepare for that meeting in the next couple weeks. So that concludes my report.
Very good. Madam Clerk.
The next commissioners' meeting is scheduled for next Tuesday, August 6th at 10 a.m. And we're just keeping with the Tuesday routine for this week and next week. Thank you.
Very good. Legal.
No reports, Commissioner.
Thank you. With that, we come to old business. Any old business before the board? Any old business?
Mr. President, if I may, please.
Mr. Commissioner.
You seem to be having a lot of confusion over the value that the Northeast Ohio Railway Coordinating Agency, our Metropolitan Planning Organization, commonly referred to as NOWACA, is. It is deeply disappointing. There's a part of me that as a father, I want to say there's no monsters under the bed and the boogeyman's not hiding in the closet. NOWACA is an example of an organization of you get out of it what you put into it. We put a great deal of effort into securing a historic grant of $80 million, part of a $129 million federal grant. Monies that were congressionally approved and were going to be spent somewhere. We monetized an obsolete coal-fired generating plant that would have been an absolute albatross on the city of Painesville with no way to pay for its decommissioning and removal. Asbestos, mercury, all of those issues that would need to be addressed, and so many more. But I'd be remiss if I didn't say the public engagement that went into securing this was really at the heart of Lake County. And I don't think that individuals who participated realized the impact that they had. the impact was the community engagement where our very own Liberty Coalition put a pretty good presentation of responding to questions, proposing alternate ways of looking at things, and holding the line on proper terminology, common language, and the efforts that actually make a difference, move the dial. And I also have to give credit to the Lake County branch of the NAACP for also participating in the community engagement and keeping things within due bounds and showing the value of projects such as this coming back to Lake County, and especially to the city of Paynesville. And the mere fact that we are actually able to monetize the old Diamond Shamrock property. That's 30 some years in the making, being able to do something productive with that. Candidly, I don't give a damn if not one single watt of electricity gets generated there if we can pay to remove that power plant and not burden the ratepayers. Paynesville is our county seat. Paynesville is on the way up. Let's not kick mud on their shoes. They're doing it the right way. The way that they interact with community development block grant monies, it's exceptional. The way that they're working with Lake Erie College, exceptional. And the fact that they, and I'm going to say it again, flipped the script on the people that want to vilify NOACA, saying that Cuyahoga County and Cleveland are dominant. They flipped the script. Paynesville used the population numbers from the city of Cleveland and Cuyahoga County in general. They were in the top 25 of projects, proposals in the nation. There were over 300 qualifying projects. They were a top scorer. Give them credit for figuring out what the rules are and using it to the advantage of our people. I don't agree with how this money came about, but it was going to be spent somewhere. We're darn lucky it's being spent here, and the level of professionalism that the city of Paynesville has shown in putting this together and shepherding it through, working with the Cleveland Foundation, the Gunn Foundation, securing the monies to put this proposal together. That's exceptional and quite frankly unheard of. And again, $80 million is historic. And all we can do is find opportunities to find fault. I could say more on that, but I think I've kind of hit that. So Mr. Heberbrand, I'm glad you stayed with us today. I will address you directly. And I will be to the point, and please let the record show. At our last meeting, you made a claim, words to the effect of the greatest unsolved crime in the history of Lake County. Your words, not mine, sir. But I do believe it's fair to say, as a prosecutor, if you truly believe a crime has been committed, you have a duty to report that to the proper authorities. I also have to say, as a lawyer, admitted to practice law in Ohio, you know that making a false report to legal authorities is a crime. It begs the question, is this why you're taking this fake news to the court of public opinion? Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you, Mr. Hamercheck.
Commissioner Hamercheck, actually. It's not Mr. till after January 2nd.
Well, we can be German and tack on all the titles. Doctor, Commissioner, Mr. Regardless, any further old business? Any further old business? Hearing none, on to new business.
Actually, I would like a clarification. What did you mean by being German? What did that mean, sir?
It's a German tradition to list off everyone's title rather than just one. You clearly, unless you self-identify otherwise, are a Mr. So Mr. is one of your titles, Commissioner is another one of your titles, and it's very German to throw all of them together because typically you would say Doctor, Professor, Commissioner. You would literally list them all out. It's just a turn of phrase. It's how Germans tend to lay out titles.
Thank you.
Whereas in America, we usually just use one or the other, but cultural differences. In any event, On to new business, I have some myself. I was very grateful to participate in the 169th Lake County Fair. We're still waiting for the official statistics, but I'm grateful to share that attendance was high. I don't know if we're number 1, number 2, number 3, but I think we're probably somewhere in the top 5 biggest fairs in Lake County history. And we do know that the Lake County 4-H auction was record-breaking for the 4th year in a row, raising over $454,000. I will say a special thank you to Eli Sullivan. I was honored to win the Grand Champion chickens from that young man, and we'll certainly try to get him and others out to celebrate as we recognize the official statements of the records for the fair at a future meeting. But I do think it's worth saying right now, thank you to the Fair Board and all the volunteers, all the folks who donated their time and their money to make the Lake County Fair possible. I think everyone just had an outstanding time. Any further new business? Hearing none, I would entertain a motion to adjourn.
I'll make the motion.
Second, sir.
Madam Clerk?
Commissioner Rigovich.
Yes.
Commissioner Hammercheck.
Yes.
Commissioner Plechnik.
Yes, we stand adjourned.